Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Isaiah chapter 40, verses 3 through 5. The voice of him that cried in the wilderness, prepare you the way of Yahweh. Make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of Yahweh shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it.
Shabbat Shalom family, our selection today, for every mountain.
I've got so much to
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as your oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. And Elohim saw the wickedness of man, that it was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented Yahweh that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Genesis 6, verses 5 through 6. And in our opening reading for the choir, it says, every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight. The first thing is Yahweh has to convince you that it ain't straight already. And when he starts doing this, how are we going to perceive the actions of our Elohim? It's one thing to look at this on a piece of paper. It is something altogether different to recognize this going on in your life, because there are going to be real situations, real circumstances that are going to be presented before you for the crooked to be made straight. This is one of those things that you rejoice in the aftermath. But while it's going on, it might be quite confusing. But it's something that we have to go through, because there are games being played here on the earth on a global scale, and they're using all of their media outlets to magnified. Now, because of some of the evils that people are doing with war crimes, they are starting to get attacked in various places that they go. And now we understand that the creation of a term, now, whenever these individuals are attacked for their actions, now it can be labeled under this one term. And it's not racism. They created their term just for them. Now it can be labeled under this false term. Not that people are actually getting absolutely sick and tired of what has been presented unto them. So as Yahweh is dealing with people, a whole lot of emotions start to come out as he begins proving the hearts. So a lot of people are in a confused state because they have been taught, respect these people no matter what. No matter what, you back these people no matter what they do. No matter who they kill, no matter what kind of war crimes they commit, no matter what, you forever back these people. And now people have gotten to a point where they're starting to question that, and it gets very, very shaky when the heart starts to question the things that were given unto it. If we think back to when we first entered into the glorious truth of Yahweh, it was really shaky. Because here it is, you're hearing some newfound teachings, and you say, well, wait a minute now, if this was always true, I should have heard it before now. Then you start questioning your own ears. Maybe I didn't hear that right. Then you start saying, well, you know what, the people that are saying this, they're too rough. You know, the people who lied to me before, they were so smooth and they were so, they always had a smile on their face. But as your heart was getting proven coming into this word, you have to think about how shaky that's going to be for the individuals out there in their street who don't have anything to refer back to. What kept us grounded is we can get right back into this word, and we have to remind ourselves over and over. Why? Because every time you go out there in that street, the adversary, the devil, is going to try to keep pulling it out of you. And what we have to do is keep putting it right back in you. You have to understand that it is a gradual attack of the adversary that weakens us. We keep looking for the knockout blow. But it's the 49th jab that's going to take care of you. And because you've taken so many of them, you don't really respect them. But bit by bit, the adversary is trying to take our culture and every just remembrance of us out of the earth. And we have to keep putting it back into us. We're going to begin today's sermon in Deuteronomy chapter 8. And the title of today's sermon is The Proving of the Heart. The Proving of the Heart. Deuteronomy chapter 8. And we're going to read verses 1 through 20.
Verse 1. All the commandments which I command you this day shall you observe to do, that you may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahweh swore unto your fathers.
So it then becomes the number one push of the adversary to make sure you don't do that. He has automatically set forth all the commandments which I command you this day shall you observe to do, that you may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahweh swore unto your fathers. If you want to seize on the inheritance that was given unto you, you have to walk in the commandments, which is the culture that Yahweh has given unto us. So you have to figure out what is the enemy's game plan. Number one, you know what he gonna do, but you still don't know how he gonna do it. I mean, in any sport we get in, all right, the name of the game is one person got to score more points than the other. You already know what they want to do. What you got to figure out how they gonna do it. Go ahead.
And you shall remember all the way which Yahweh your Elohim led you these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble you and to prove you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or no.
See, this is that part where we think we are in a better state than what we're in. And this is what causes us to either offer a lackluster offering, what causes us to offer a lackluster work, what causes us to offer anything lackluster. Why? Because we think we already got it good. We already think we're in a good standing. So we don't need to do anything else. He says he led you 40 years in the wilderness to humble you. Wait a minute. You were already slaves. How much more humble do you need to be? Yahweh, we ain't got nothing. How do you humble slaves? We just came out of a place where if they said they were hot, we was the fan. When we got ready to start talking about we wanted to get free, they said you got to build, these monuments, but you know what? We ain't getting you no more brick. Since you got all this talk about you want to be free and everything, then you must have too much time on your hand. I tell you what, now you go make the brick. And then you build the stuff with the brick you make. But we ain't giving you no extra time now. Yahweh still said you needed to be humbled. Now, if a slave need to be humbled, I know you might not look at your house as a castle, but I need you to back down and consider the dirt floors that our ancestors may have had to deal with. And I tell you that you're sitting in a castle. If the slave has to be humbled, I need you to wake up, walk through your house. If the slave had to be humbled, what do you think needs to happen to you? Okay. Read, please.
And he humbled you, and suffered you to hunger, and fed you with manna, which you knew not, neither did your fathers know, that he might make you know that man does not live by bread only, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh does man live.
Right. The first thing we do when we living good is our food change. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. When we get a few dollars, we go to Checkers and stuff like that. You get a few more dollars, you realize, that is garbage. You realize that garbage right there. Then you start eating at places where they actually bring you a real fork. That's the first thing we do when our money get better, is we eat better. So the first thing Yahweh dealing with is how you eat. He says, I'm going to humble you. No, give me that. Well, that's fine delicacy right there. Yeah. Give me that. And this is before we do anything wrong. This is the thing that we have to get in our head. It says to humble and to prove you. He's about to give you something that is so amazing that he needs to humble you first. We ain't ready for nothing like that. He's about to give you something so amazing that he needs to humble you first. Go ahead.
Your raiment waxed not old upon you, neither did your foot swell these 40 years. You shall also consider in your heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so Yahweh also chasteneth you. Therefore, you shall keep the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For Yahweh your Elohim brings you into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills.
Okay. For Yahweh your Elohim bring you into a good land. So before he gives you that, before he takes you to the mountaintop, he got to take you through the valley. At least you be on top of the mountain and say, you know what? This is just regular. This ain't that. This is just a regular old hill. This ain't that. I mean, I see further when I get up here. That's all. Now you don't even respect the mountain. Now you think the mountain regular. Because you ain't ever been through no valley. So you don't even have any kind of appreciation for the mountain. But he said, look at, when I give you what I give you, you're going to respect this. You understand? So to make sure you're going to respect this, I need to humble and prove you. Because if you disrespect his gift, I don't think you understand the love and care that he's putting into you by humbling and proving you. Because if you disrespect his gift, he's going to have to do something to you. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, we always talk about, Yahweh putting us in a position to feel how he feels as a father. That's the thing about even our children. They think they're ready for certain things, and we're still waiting for them to get to that point of humbleness. It's not that we don't want you to have it.
Right.
We just know you're not ready for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, just be patient. Because with your lack of humbleness, this is going to become more of a burden than a blessing to you.
Right.
It's funny as you go along, and I was saying that to my Isha on the way here today, now I feel what Yahweh said when he said, my spirit will not always strive with man because he's but flesh. And then you realize with your children that you're dealing in the spiritual realm with certain things, but they still coming from the flesh, and it's like, you know what, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah. And this is one of those things where you realize that it takes, this time to get to a place, and that patience is funny. If you don't have patience, you might end up becoming a patient. Well, he got a way of slowing you down. Real slow. And you hear, boop, boop. Oh, you slow down. Oh, you real patient. Because you are one. But if that's the only way he can make you have some patience is by making you a patient, then damn it, that's what he gonna do. But you have given him the only option. When you block all other opportunities and you leave, okay, Yahweh, the only way you can reach me is if I'm at Greater Memorial. She said, well, put a stamp on it then. And see you at Greater. I see you on the 4th floor. I'm going to see you there. It seems like I can't get your attention no other way. I can't get you to listen to me no other way. I tell you what. Everybody listen on the 4th floor. There ain't one soul on the 4th floor saying, I don't want to hear nothing from God. Ain't nobody on the 4th floor saying that right there. So he said, okay, I just need to get you to a place where you can hear. You know what? That 4th floor gonna do it. You're gonna be able to hear me then. See, all these distractions, you can't hear me. This fine living, this fine cuisine, you can't even spell this stuff you eat. That stuff seems to be blocking our connection. But I tell you what, that stuff on the 4th floor ain't nothing good about that food on the 4th floor. You gonna hear me then. Right. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 8. A land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, and land of oil, olive, and honey. A land wherein you shall eat bread without scarceness. You shall not lack anything in it. A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you may dig brass. When you have eaten and are full, then you shall bless Yahweh Elohim for the good land which he has given you.
So he knows when we're going to have the biggest problem. He says to humble and to prove you, he took away certain things from you. And he's already warning you, all right, now, when you have eaten to the full, I'm telling you, when we gonna have the biggest problem. We're gonna have the biggest problem when you're doing good. Everybody think they want to hit the lotto. Everybody say they want to hit the lotto. Most of the folks that hit the lotto, you ain't never gonna see them again. Correct?
Beware that you forget not Yahweh your Elohim, in not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command you this day.
And he's got to warn you that this is going to happen when you are eaten to the full. So the beginning of this, then that means when he's humbling and proving you, this ain't about punishment. And we think everything that we don't get is about punishment. That is not what that was. He says to humble and to prove you. He was not doing that because he was angry with you. He's doing that to prepare you for the greatness that he's about to give you. You know, like Priest was talking about, you know, wanting to get something, but you're not ready. You may have enough money to get something, but that don't mean that you're mentally or spiritually ready to deal with everything that comes with it. Go ahead.
Least when you have eaten and art full, and have built goodly houses and dwell therein, and when your herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and your gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart be lifted up, and you forget Yahweh your Elohim.
Right, and we won't forget Yahweh totally. See, we forget Yahweh in bits and pieces and spans, you know. Now, see, if we have somebody that we dealing with in a relationship, you know, if we don't call them in a week, they pissed. Yeah, well, you know, the fuller we get, the better we ride, the better we eat, the better we living, the less and less time we have for Yahweh. Well, how long in that personal relationship could you just disappear and everything still be okay when you show back up? How long you think that'll take? Go ahead.
Which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, who led you through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought you forth water out of the rock of flint, who fed you in the wilderness with manna, which your fathers knew not, that he might humble you, and that he might prove you to do you good at your latter end.
Yahweh's so deep, he said, I'm going to feed you with something that you ain't never seen before. You're not even going to be able to figure this out right here. Go ahead.
And you say in your heart, my power and the might of mine hand has gotten me this wealth.
I'm the one that graduated summa cum laude. I did that. God didn't do that. I did that.
Right. Go ahead.
But you shall remember Yahweh your Elohim, for it is he that gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he sware unto your fathers.
This degree got my name on it. I don't see God nowhere on here.
Right. Go ahead.
As it is this day. And it shall be, if you do at all forget Yahweh your Elohim, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day that you shall surely perish.
Now, we won't think that we are serving and worshiping other gods, because the way that the nations have set up the worship practices, they set them up as fun and games. They've set them up as festivals. They've set them up as some other thing. They are not set up as you are worshiping another god. It is all fun and games. They throw a big party and about to throw one here for the New Year's ball drop. Everybody getting ready to celebrate. They don't know they're celebrating another God. They don't know that the pinpoint accurate time to worship the two-headed God Janus is New Year's Eve. And they're going to make a big deal about it all over the country, in every place. It's going to be televised. We talking television on at midnight. Live. Because they want you to celebrate their God. We are in the midst of celebrating those things, but we don't see that as another God. But what we have to consider is, how does your God see that? Not how you see it. There's many times, man, you think you done something right until you get back to the house. Now I saw it one way, and I was walking good. Got to the house. Oh, you ain't like that? Wait a minute. Hell, I thought I did good. Hell, I thought it was gonna be accepted one way. But that ain't how I was looked at when I got back to the house. So once that happened to you a couple times, you start to realize, now I think this is a good idea, but wait a minute, hold on, let me think for a second. Well, you got to start doing that with your Elohim. Yeah, you think this is a good idea. What does your Elohim think? Go ahead.
As the nations which Yahweh destroyed before your face, so shall you perish, because you would not be obedient unto the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim.
All right, let's go to 1 Peter chapter 4. First Peter chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 12 through 19.
Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fire trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you.
Wait a minute. So in the Old Testament, Yahweh says he humbled and proved him. Now we in the New Testament, and it says, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. I can go in the Old Testament and read the same thing in the New Testament, but they swear that's old mean old God in that Old Testament. That God just mean. I don't like him. Wait a minute. We go from one end of the book to the other end of the book. And do you not see the power in being proven? See, sometimes when people move up a ladder too fast, this is what causes them a problem, because they were not proven on each step. So sometimes we can live and have an advantage, so we start on step 1, but before you know it, we already at step 5. And we're congratulating ourselves about our wonderful accomplishment. But when trial and tribulation happen, you're going to have a problem with 2 through 4. You never been on those steps. You had advantage. You had something, you didn't have to work to get through those steps. You're going to have some problems on the way back down, because you ain't never been on that step before. See, when he gradually moved you from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, you know what's on each one of those steps. So if all don't shake the core of who you are and what you are, you already been on those steps. But when you skipped a few, because you knew somebody, some things happened, when you slide down one step, you got a problem, because you ain't never been on that one. Yahweh trying to keep that from happening to you. Go ahead.
But rejoice, inasmuch as you are partakers of Yahshua's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy. If you be reproached for the name of Yahshua, happy are you, For the spirit of glory and of Elohim resteth upon you. On their part, he is evil spoken of, but your part, he is glorified.
So then this is spiritual sacrifice then. We didn't have to go and get no goats and go find some turtle doves and cut them open. Most of the spiritual sacrifices, when we are in the midst of them, we're trying to get the hell out of them. Go ahead.
But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters.
And see, this is what we're seeing on the earth, where people suffer rebuke because of the evil that they're doing in somebody else's house, and then they claim, oh, these people just hate me because of my ethnicity. No, that ain't why they hate you. They hate you because of that missile that you sent over there at that hospital. They hate you because of that missile that you sent over there in that children's school. They hate you because you sent a bomb to a regular house. That's why they hate you. Don't say they hate you because of your ethnicity. That ain't why they hate you. Go ahead.
But if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed.
That's a follower of the Mashiach. Don't let that get twisted. Go ahead.
But let him glorify Elohim on this behalf. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Elohim.
Wait a minute. See, Yahweh works from inside out, not outside in. He said, no, start at my house. And then you go to Revelation, you start dealing with judgment, you go into the prophets, you find the same thing. Do all these things. Oh, and by the way, start at my house. No. Don't go out there and deal with none of them people in the street. Deal in my house. Cast out what need to be cast out. Chastise what need to be chastised. Straighten out what's crooked. And then go out into the street. You know, when people don't really understand that it say start at his house, as soon as they start going through some things, they say, you know what? I got to get out of Yahweh's house. Poor dumb folk. They don't know that it's coming where they went. They don't know it's coming now too. They don't know that he just started at his house. He not finishing at his house. No. He began at his house. Now what you think they gonna do when they realize that everything they ran away from is gonna happen to them where they ended up at? They didn't understand the book. See, this is what happened when you read half of something and think you know what you're doing, when you should just sit down, shut your mouth, and learn. But what happened? Boom, we take off. Soon as we get insulted, soon as something don't happen right, you do know that's going to where you going, right? Okay, they may just be a little bit behind, but he on his way. But see, we'll get to a place that's slower and think,
You see? It's peaceful here.
you should have looked at his bus schedule. See, if you look at the schedule, see, you don't get to the 34 Gresham don't get the flat shows until 419. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? See, right now, it's 3:30 and you think everything good. You understand? Look at what I'm trying to tell you. See, 419 is your stop. You understand? So just hold on what you got there, and I promise you, it's a whooping on the way. He just ain't got to your stop yet. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, you've always said, you know, the Old Testament, New Testament, Yahweh doesn't change. You talk about him starting from inward out. What did he say? I don't see men as you do.
Nope.
I see from the end.
Yep.
And work out.
Yep. They couldn't figure out why you picked Dawid as king. Man, look at all these big, strong warrior brothers. You gonna pick the dude taking care of the sheep? He pretty and play the harp. Nobody's scared to know knuckle play the harp. Man, play a manly instrument or something, you know, man. Come on, man, I know harp, bro. Yeah, well, I see the part of him that y'all don't see. So what do we see when we look at one another? Do you see the outward part of the individual that you're looking at? Or are you able to look past the flesh and see the spirit of how that individual operates? Go ahead.
And if it first began at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Elohim? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of Elohim commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful Creator.
All right, let's go to Judges chapter 3. Now, we have to put some things in context because when we're talking about this part or this period of Judges, we have been given a law. We've come out of the captivity of Egypt, okay? We have been given our land. And now, all of the statutes of the law are now coming and are working against us. He has told us, okay, if you do not serve me, you are going to serve your enemy in your enemy's land. So you have, these individuals who have never been through any captivity. All right, they can't produce one in their history. So they say that they're going to debunk Deuteronomy 28. You know, the entire book of Judges makes it absolutely impossible to debunk Deuteronomy 28, right? Because they're going through exactly what he said was going to happen if they were disobedient to his culture. Which is why we are sitting in a land amazed that what we learned on Sunday morning wasn't true. Go ahead, let's start that. Judges chapter 3, and we're going to read 1 through 14.
Now these are the nations which Yahweh left to prove Israel by them.
Wait a minute. Here we go again with this proving. See, we think we so fine and divine that we don't need to be proved. We think we were proven when we showed up. We don't understand how that works. See, you're proven in battle. This is why Dawid said, look, hey, man, that's a nice sword you got there, son. And that's a nice coat of mail. All right, that is nice stuff. But I can't go to war with that. Because I have not proven them. What do you mean you ain't proven them? I ain't seen those work. I know this might not seem glorious to you. But what I can do with this slingshot. See, I done proven this slingshot. See, the way I can do it, I can tell the way it, when it whistled, right? The way that thing whistled, I said, oh yeah, I know I'm about to get me a knuckle down. See, I can listen to the whistle. I know exactly when to let it go. Let it go. There it go. Bow! There go his head right open. See, what happened? I done proven this. I can know. I can tell when the wind sound good. I can tell how it feel in my hand. That I done proved this one. I done proved it's the flick of the wrist. Flick of the wrist. I done proved this one. That sword you got is fine, man. But I have not proven that. I can't go with that. I can only go with what has been proven. Well, here we go, Israel. We can do like those people who got them megaphones at the gas station and go and holler out what tribe we are. But Yahweh only taking proven people Go ahead.
And as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Pardon me, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Verse 2. Only that the generations of the children of Israel might know to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof, namely 5 masters of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Zidonians, and the Hivites that dwell in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal-Hermon on to the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of Yahweh, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moshe.
Now, we will never consider that Yahweh would give us something or leave something among us just to prove us. See, we might turn around and say, you know what, Yahweh, I want this right here. And you might think that he letting you have it because he said, you know what, you fine and divine. But he actually said, you know what, I want to see if you're going to still serve me. Which one you want? I want that one right there. Give him 2 of them. Give him the blue one and the black one. And you like, who? God loves me. All right. At 419, that 34 hit flat shows. All right, let's see what it do. Let's see what it do. Let's see if we still together at 419 when that 34 hit flat shows. All right, but there you go, though. But you got 2 of them. Ain't that what you wanted? That what you asked me for, right? All right, well, let's see when the bus hit your stop. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods.
Wait a minute. So they got the women, and as soon as they got the women, they got the gods of the women. Okay. All right. So you want her? That's the one you want right now? The short stout one. That's the one you want? Give it to him. There you go. But it looked like when that 34 hit flat shows, somebody was worshiping another god by the time that bus got to their stop. Okay. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and forgot Yahweh their Elohim, and served Baalim and the groves. Therefore the anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Cushan-Rishathaim 8 years.
So then Yahweh is doing exactly what he said in Deuteronomy. If you do not serve me, you're going to serve your enemy. So slavery is an organized form of Yahweh's punishment. He didn't ever say he was going to throw you in no chamber of gas and burn your flesh. He didn't ever say he was going to do any of these things. What he did say is that he would make you a servant. This entire book is about captivity and slavery. Yet, individuals who claim to be the descendants of this book cannot produce one slavery. Not one. This book is full of them. Full of them. We just went through one. Keep reading.
And when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, Yahweh raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz.
You know why we always looking for a savior? Because we always need to be saved. It's funny. Nobody else is looking for a Messiah. Why is that? Why are we the only ones looking for a Messiah? Right. Go ahead.
Caleb's younger brother. And the Spirit of Yahweh came upon him, and he judged Israel, and went out to war, and Yahweh delivered Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand. And his hand prevailed against Cushan-Rishathaim, and the land had rest 40 years, and Othniel, the son of Kenaz, died. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahweh. And Yahweh strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel.
You see how Yahweh works now, right? This is repetitive. Now, he didn't go in and start doing all kind of strange things. No, he did exactly what he said according to the covenant. So when people produce a punishment that's not in his covenant, I have to ask, what God did that to you? 'Cause it wasn't mine. My God gave a covenant of how he would punish his people. It was slavery. Here we go once again. Keep going.
Because they had done evil in the sight of Yahweh. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees.
Uh-huh.
So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years.
Another slavery. Yet it's funny. If someone, and if you're so busy shouting and dancing and praise dancing on Sunday morning, you're not really paying attention to any of these specific writings. When somebody tells you that they were slaves in Egypt, shouldn't they be telling you that they were slaves in Mesopotamia? They were slaves, but shouldn't they be telling you? Because you know this happened after, right? Shouldn't they be telling you that? But see, we so busy dancing, praise dancing, that we ain't asking no questions. Wait a minute. Shouldn't you be telling me about all of the ones after that? Everybody know about the ones in the front of the book. No. Tell me about some of those other ones. Tell me how you were slaves and were made to do, labor and pay tribute. Tell me about that. How is it that you have no stories of that? Because this entire book is full of it. Okay? We're talking 21 chapters. How is it you have none? You have nothing. Now, do I become anti-something because I ask you a question regarding the scripture that you say you're in? If I say, hey, bro, I was in that movie Fast and Furious, and you go look at the movie, yeah, it's like where you were, bro. But I looked at the movie 3 times. Now, maybe you told me you was in 4 and you was in 5. I don't know. But, bro, I looked at the movie. I didn't see you. Now, can I say that brother anti-sock? Because he done asked me about the movie that I said I was in. And he going to have the nerve to question me. Why you got to be so anti-sockmatic? You know what I'm saying? Now, can I accuse a brother of being anti-sockmatic? Because he asked me about the movie that I said I was in? But he looked in the movie and didn't see me? Okay. Go ahead, Bree.
Very few of us have a story of only one whooping we ever got in our life.
I'll take that. You know what? Hold on. I'll take that. Count that 3. That 3 right there, bro. That 3 right there. That 3. I like that. That 3 right there, bro. That ain't 2 points. That 3 right there. That was behind the line. Go ahead, bro.
That was it for that.
That was it. All right. Jump to Judges chapter 4.
And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of Yahweh.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Go ahead.
When Ehud was dead, and Yahweh sold them into
You see the connection to us, though, right? All right. You start to learn the parallels of how we operate. Once we get an authoritative figure, we put all of our power and our connection to our Elohim in the authoritative figure. When the authoritative figure is gone, all of a sudden we act like we don't know Yahweh again. It continues to happen, and we got to get out of that. We got to get out of that. It continues to happen. Soon as the authoritative figure is gone, we done forgot the commandments. I watched it happen when my elder died. People who were there 30, 35 years, all of a sudden didn't know the basic commandments. What happened? I loved the man, but he wasn't my Messiah. What happened? Go ahead.
And Yahweh sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan.
Right, but, folks saying, first of all, wasn't no,
black people up this far. See, black people was in South Africa.
I'm sorry, who's Canaan?
Son of Ham.
Son of Ham. Ham mean burnt black. Wait a minute. So you telling me that the Israelites were slaves to the people whom we call Africans? Say it ain't so. Somebody lying. Go ahead.
That reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harish of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel.
20 years. Slavery. But see, the slavery keeps growing. So we think it's something horrible when he says, all right, 400 years. And you're like, 400 years? Wait a minute, man. 5, 20, 18, 17. It didn't do you no good. What happened when you keep whooping a kid and the kid keep getting tougher? You hitting the kid and you're like, psh. You hitting, psh. Psh. Oh, yeah, okay, I got me a stubborn knuckle right here. See, I'm gonna have to do something different with this knuckle right here. See, I'm saying, I'm trying to keep it light with this knuckle right here. But I, you know what I'm saying? He gonna try to show me my strap don't mean nothing. Okay, I see how we playing. That's all right. I'm gonna leave you over there so long, you gonna forget who you are. See, one thing you have to know is you better be careful how you play with daddy. At some point, you gonna always, you gonna come, you gonna be taller, you gonna be stronger than daddy, you gonna be faster than daddy, but you need to understand, don't play with daddy. You need to understand, you know what I'm saying? There's always something special that's kept in the bag. You know what I'm saying? There's a trick that I ain't quite told you yet. You understand what I'm talking about? I kept that in the bag for a reason. You understand what I'm talking about? Now, if you cross said thus line, I got to open that bag. Now, I hope to my Elohim I never have to open that bag. But I got that trick in that bag. I keep that in that bag. We the kind that make Yahweh open that bag. Go ahead, bro. You finish that?
Yes.
Jump to chapter 6. It ain't over. The party's not over.
And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahweh.
Come on, man. Come on. How many? We got 21 chapters of this. Yet nobody can produce a slavery in their past. So you have to be sympathetic to the same event. Yet Yahweh never said anything about that event in his covenants, in his promises, in his curses, in his punishment. He never said anything about this event. But we're supposed to all be sympathetic to an event that Yahweh never mentioned. Yet he's showing us how he deals with his children. So then if I look in this history, I need to be able to find these things. How can you tell me that you are a child of Yah, but I don't find any of the ways that he punished you? And he told me how he punishes. I don't have to guess how he punishes. He tells me. This book outlines it. And you can't tell me that you have this book and it's held sacred, that you don't understand these things. But because there's control of what gets out, now we're questioning if this is really us. And you know who questions if this is really us the most? Us. The most educated of us. Not just us. The most educated of us. Go to us who have a PhD. Go to us who have all the letters behind their name. They are the ones that question this the most. Because they've also been, while they were educated, they were also indoctrinated. And they saw what they were getting on the left, but they did not see what was happening to them on the right. Go ahead, bro.
You know, Elder, the one thing that Yahweh said or gave as his punishment to the children of Israel is the one thing that the world is not sympathetic towards?
What's that?
The slavery.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, the world don't like whippings. They tell us, and see, now we want to be like other people. See, we grow up in their neighborhoods, and then we say, you know what, I'm not going to whip my kids. See, because I'm gonna be like one of those feng shui parents. See, I'm going to talk to my kids. I'm going to tell them, you did wrong. But I'm going to hit the table. I'm not going to hit the kid. That kid going to kill your ass. Your kid going to be arrogant, loud, and then Yeah, read, bro. Read.
And Yahweh delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel. And because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains, and caves and strongholds. And so it was, when Israel had sown, that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites and the children of the east, even they came up against them. And they encamped against them, and destroyed the increase of the earth, till you come onto Gaza.
Same place we having problem right now. See, sometimes you move into a place, right? And now you have to deal with the spirit of that place. And it's interesting. They are not those people. But because they entered into a place, they have to deal with the spirit of what was in that land. Do we even consider that when we start dealing with something? That there may be a spirit that was already there. And then when you go down there, you got to deal with that spirit. It ain't got nothing to do with you. That spirit was already there when you got there. You just the next in line. You come up, and now that same spirit is dealing with you. I done seen people date somebody. That person turned to a mean beater. I mean, just an angry person. And they broke up. Then they get somebody else. Before long, that person is just as mean as the previous person they were dating. Now I say to myself, now that's peculiar, because I knew that individual and they wasn't mean and ornery before dating that person. Wait a minute. That's the spirit that they walk in. Anybody that gets with them is going to end up completely ornery and always wanting to fight. Then you realize it's a spirit in that land. It's a spirit in that individual, and anybody that is around it turns into that. Do we even consider that? Or we do like Lot. That land is thick and well watered. Boy, look at it. Look at the valleys on there. Look at the hills on it. Man. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. But the spirit of that land got Lot pretty bad, didn't it? But that land sure did look good from afar, didn't it? Oh, he looked over there. He said, which part you want, Lot? Damn. Look at them hills. I want that one. I want that right there. Right. Same one he got to run out of. Right. He ran out of them same hills. All right. Let me go if I get in trouble. Hey, bro, go. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 5. It's going downhill fast.
You know, Elder, you were saying earlier about no dark-skinned people being that far up, but this one, it says till you come onto Gaza, right? Uh-huh. So they were all up in there way before all that other stuff was going on.
Oh, hey, man. The one thing that they will never say is that Israel was called Canaan land. How is it Netanyahu's map don't say Canaan? Netanyahu's map says blessing, and then he says curse. Did y'all notice that the curse was all black? Mm-hmm. Y'all didn't notice that the curse map was all black? Mm-hmm. Why don't he say Canaan land? Is it why? Man, there's churches called Canaan land. Why don't the people who claim that it is them, why won't they say Canaan? They're afraid you're going to look up Canaan. And when you look up Canaan, you're going to run into Ham. If you look up Ham, you're going to find out it means burnt black. So if the father is burnt black, what is Canaan? Wait a minute. If it was Canaan land, then that means it was burnt black land before Israel got it. Wait a minute. How you merged in with them, and you still, I mean, there ain't no tint to your skin at all. Ain't no tint. I mean, you still extra pasty. How is that possible if you have somehow merged with burnt black? You don't merge with burnt black and still be pasty. It is not. Come on, bro. Y'all got crayons. Come on, man. Crayola come in a box. All right? Come on now. It don't happen. Somebody lying. They don't want you to look up Canaan. They tell you that nobody black was up that far. You know, your people was in South Africa. So tell me why y'all accept the Ethiopian Jews. Because, you know, that's the anomaly that does not fit. Why would you accept them? Because, you know, it's Ethiopians darker than us, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all do understand that? So why you accept them? Right. Interesting. 2 Kings chapter 5, and let's start at verse 1.
Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him Yahweh had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper.
Now, if he's a leper, then his skin is white, but he's supposed to be black. And you know that ain't hard to figure out when you look at an individual and you see all their body features and them black body features, but they're not black. Go ahead.
And the Syrians had gone out by companies, and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife.
Now, if he from Syria, shouldn't he already be white? Ain't Syrians white? Now see, this is where we look at the people who are there now, and we try to automatically put that. Why is that even a question? See, today, if we saw somebody who was white from Syria, but we said, when did you get leprosy? When did it happen? Right. Go ahead.
And she said unto her mistress, would Elohim my master were with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy.
Uh-huh.
And one went in and told his master, saying, thus and thus said the maid that is of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, go, and I'll send a letter on to the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, now when this letter is come unto you, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant to you, that you may recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, am I Elohim to kill and to make alive, that this man does send unto me to recover a man of his leprosy? Wherewith consider, I pray you, and see how he seeks a quarrel against me. And it was so, when Elisha the man of Elohim had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, wherefore have you rent your clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall come again to you, and you shall be clean. But Naaman was angry, and went away, and said, Behold, I thought, he will surely come out to me, and stand, and call on the name of Yahweh his Elohim.
So when Yahweh began to make a crooked place straight, do you fight the method that he uses to do so? See, now there is a disrespect toward the method. What do you mean that go in this war? No. Do something greater than this. It's like, we're going to go to the doctor and we said, look, man, I'm having a pain in my left, foot. And they said, well, take this. No, man, I don't like that. That's all you going to do? That's all you going to do? You ain't going to do nothing else? Go ahead.
And strike his hand over the place, and recover the leper. Are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel?
Come on now, you could have gave me some better water than this. But hey, have we done the same to Yahweh? He sent us somewhere and we said, no, surely there's a greater place than this. This where you going to send me to be healed? This place? Go ahead.
May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spake unto him, said, My father, if the prophet had bid you to do some great thing, would you not have done it?
Right, because we are assessing value based on what we put in it. This is why people don't value some of the word that they're getting, because we're not charging them the way the Christians charge them. This is why they don't think it has value. See, on Sunday morning, they would have got 3 scriptures and a bill. You got 3 scriptures, a song and dance, and a bill. And if you wanted to hear the rest of that message, the DVD is on sale for $59.95 at the bookstore. And because we don't do that, they don't assess that it is something profitable and worth having. Go ahead.
How much rather then, when he says to you, Wash and be clean? Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of Elohim. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of Elohim, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold now, I know that there is no El in all the earth, but in Israel. Now therefore, I pray you, take a blessing of your servant.
Now, what if someone then go back to him to convince him? See, there's healing that's being offered unto us. But when we get to the point that we're so arrogant that no one can reach us for the healing, then we might end up staying broken. Because we can't accept the way in which Yahweh is offering the healing. See, this is where respect of persons kick in. We not only have respect of persons, we got respect of places.
You can heal me at Northside, but I refuse to be healed at Grady. I'd rather. No, you ain't gonna hear me at no Grady. No, you take me uptown. I want to be healed up there. I want to make a better story. I want to tell people, yeah, I got healed at Northside.
Okay. You're not going to make it to Northside. You're going to die on the way. Because you didn't want to be healed at the place right over there on the corner, which is where all the people of Northside practiced and got better before they went up there. But you ain't going to live long enough to make it up there. But see, that's us. That is us. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17.
You know, Elder, even that situation right there, and now, in this day and age, we say that's disrespectful. Man, he didn't even come out to talk to me himself. He sent somebody else to talk to me.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Jeremiah chapter 17, and let's read verses 1 through 10.
The sin of Yehuda is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altars. Whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills? O my mountain in the field, I will give your substance and all your treasures to the spoil, and your high places for sin throughout all your borders. And you, even yourselves, shall discontinue from your heritage that I gave you. And I will cause you to serve your enemies in the land which you knoweth not, for you have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
So he said he was you was gonna be in the chambers. What did he say? Well, how he say he was gonna punish you?
Be in a land that you knew not. Be in your enemy's
So
land.
so he said he gonna punish. Here we go. Now wait a minute. Now we just had a whole book completely full of slavery. Now we in the middle of this book. What did he just say?
I'll cause you to serve your enemies in the land which you know not.
So then we understand how he punishes us. Yet we keep letting other people tell us something different. I'm not unsympathetic to somebody else's plight and somebody else's issue. But I can't make the sympathy of your plight and put you into my heritage. There was a bad car accident a couple days ago. Right out front. It was a bad situation. Brothers, ran out there to try to help. And, the brothers was willing to do, what they could do. But at no point in time were we going to say, you know what, man, you have suffered here. Here, have our house. The hell they were. Go ahead, Reese.
Thus says Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and makes flesh his arm, and whose heart departs from Yahweh. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited. Blessed is the man that trusteth in Yahweh, and whose hope is Yahweh. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreads out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat comes, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things.
Wait a minute. It's the first thing that people have said. Well, God knows my heart. Well, let me tell you what he know about it. Read that again.
The heart is deceitful above all things.
That's what he know about it.
God knows my heart.
You notice every time somebody get ready to do something wrong,
God knows my heart.
he does. What he know about it? Because my book said he knows it's desperately wicked. Matter of fact, and read the other end.
And desperately wicked, who can know it?
Wait a minute. They said God know it. He said, who can know it? He said, it's desperately wicked, and who can know it? First thing they going to use to justify their action,
God knows my heart.
now he know your actions. What'd you do?
Well, he know my heart. See,
Okay. Go ahead, bro.
I, Yahweh, search the heart.
Uh-huh.
I try the reins.
Uh-huh.
Even to give every man according to his ways.
Wait a minute. It was that he found in your heart. Here's that thing. Yeah, he know it. But he know it better than you know it. He know the real part of your heart. See, we look at ourselves with a filter on. You know, that's the one thing that's bad about these damn phones. They give you a filter. And you know, you can take a picture and the picture look one way. You know, you put that filter on it. Damn it, that picture is amazing. But that filter. And that's how we looking at our heart. We looking at it with that filter. We put that filter on it, but man, my heart is nice. God know it. But you know, when he look at it, he gonna take that filter you put on there off, right? Yeah, he gonna unphotoshop it. So you Photoshop that thing. He gonna unphotoshop it. Now, he gonna look at it, and he gonna see it for what's really in there. Now, we done convinced ourselves that the things that are in there is in there for good. But he gonna see it for what it really is. Now what you gonna do? Because you done convinced yourself that all that stuff was good. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, he says, I Yahweh search the heart, I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings.
Uh-huh.
So you got your heart. People always talk about heartstrings. What is reins? Reins are what you direct the horse in.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, I try the reins. So he's trying to direct you, but will you let him direct you?
Boy, stop. Let's go to Matthew chapter 15. We can have a spiritual GPS and still won't listen. Turn left. The Spirit says, turn left. I said the Spirit said, turn. No, I'm going this other way. I know a shortcut. Right? Yeah, you know a shortcut to hell. You're going to get there faster. Matthew chapter 15, and we're going to read verses 1 through 20.
Then came to Yahshua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, Why do you also transgress the commandments of Elohim by your tradition?
Now, people would have said, you know what, Yahshua, why you answering the question by asking the question? You know what I'm saying? What you doing is disrespectful. Why don't you just answer the question?
Go ahead.
For Elohim commanded, saying, Honor your father and mother, and he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. But you say, Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, It is a gift by whatsoever you might be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have you made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition.
Uh-huh.
You hypocrites, well did Esaias prophesy of you, saying,
Now, I just want to say, you know, because a lot of people get offended really easy. The question started out about hand washing, and y'all sure don't went to hypocrites. I just want to say, because you know what I'm saying, for everybody that say, you know,
Sometimes, you know, priests just be so harsh.
have you met Yahshua? Have you read any of his words? This conversation started out about washing hands, and it ended up with somebody being a hypocrite. Okay. Keep reading.
This people draw near unto me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
Uh-huh.
But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. And he called the multitude and said unto them, Hear and understand, not that which goes into the mouth defiles a man, but that which comes out of the mouth, this defiles a man. Then came his disciples and said unto him, Know you that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying?
He has offended the Pharisees because he done went in, but this conversation started about washing hands before you eat. And he done went into doctrine, Jack. He done went deep off in the doctrine, but we get offended by everything. Now, he says he gonna make the crooked places straight. But are you gonna be able to withstand while he doing that? While he touching on your feelings? You know? Go ahead.
But he answered and said, Every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Then answered Cephas and said unto him, Declare unto us this parable. And Yahshua said, Are you also yet without understanding?
Hey, I mean, now come on, man. This Stephen, man, this gonna be the leader of your church. You gonna handle him like that, Yahshua. You just gonna ask, you know what I'm saying, the next leader, you know, are you also without understanding? This perverse and wicked generation. Man, come on, Yahshua, do you even like us? Okay. Go ahead.
Do not you yet understand that whatsoever enters in at the mouth goes into the belly and is cast out into the draught? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man.
So what proceeds out of the mouth are the things that are in the heart. So then the mouth and the heart are directly connected. Go ahead.
For out of the heart proceeds evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man. But to eat with unwashen hands defiles not a man.
Right. So we must make sure that we're not like our forefathers and pay attention to all the wrong things. We so busy looking at all the enzymes we eating. We ain't paying attention to the ouzymes that's coming out your mouth. Right. Let's go to Numbers chapter 22. Numbers chapter 22, and we're going to start that at verse 20.
And Elohim came unto Balaam at night, and said unto him, If the men come to call you, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto you, that shall you do. And Balaam rose up in the morning, and saddled his ass, and went with the princes of Moab.
Now, there was instructions, and Elohim came to Balaam at night and said, If the men come to call you, rise up and go with them. Verse 21. And Balaam rose up in the morning, saddled his ass, and went with the princes of Moab. When did they come to you? When they call you? See, sometimes we hear the parts of a story that we want to hear. He didn't hear any other part that was supposed to happen first. What he heard was, then you go with him. So he gets up and go with him and swear he's doing right. This is us. See, when he said, I'm going to make the crooked places straight, how hard are you going to fight your Elohim as he's doing it? How hard are you going to fight as he's using people around you to bring this to your understanding? How hard do you fight those people? Do you accuse those people of things when they see the crooked places that need to be helped to be straight? Do you attack them? Go ahead.
And Elohim's anger was kindled because he went. And the angel of Yahweh stood in the way for an adversary against him.
All right, so now he has been disobedient, and now he has a spiritual situation. Now Elohim is blocking his path. Go ahead.
Now he was riding upon his ass, and his two servants were with him. And the ass saw the angel of Yahweh standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field. And Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way.
So now he think this old dumb donkey, I'm supposed to be going that way, and this dumb ass turns the other way and go in the field. Okay, keep reading.
But the angel of Yahweh stood in a path of the vineyards, a wall being on this side and a wall on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of Yahweh, she thrust herself onto the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again.
This is the second hit that this dumb ass don't deserve, because the dumb animal can see the angel of Yahweh. The dumb animal said, oh, I know what not to mess with. And I'm going to tell you, whatever the hell that is, I'm going in the opposite direction. Understand now? When them tsunamis was coming, our small PhD having cells was still on the beach. We got music playing, everything. All the goats and dogs, they were, hey, we out. Hey, bro, hey, bro, hey, bro, hey, they gone. All right? Now, who the hell talked to these dumb animals? Cause all the PhD having people is still on the beach, listening to their music, playing volleyball, and animals going by them, going to the highest place they can find. Who the hell talked to them? What did they see? Okay, go ahead.
And the angel of Yahweh went further and stood in a narrow place where was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left.
Uh-oh.
And when the ass saw the angel of Yahweh, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff.
He just beating this animal, because this is one dumb animal. And the animal just being disobedient. Now, what if we got hit for every time we went in a different direction than what we were supposed to go? This is 3 undeserved hits now. But he still think he right. At this moment, he believes he is right. The dumb donkey is helping him. But self-preservation always makes us strike out against our immediate help. Because it don't feel like help at this moment. It is inconvenient. Go ahead.
And Yahweh opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto you, that you've smitten me these 3 times?
Now, you know you in your own when you answer the dumb ass back. There should have been amazement when the dumb ass opened his mouth. That should have been it. But yet, when you feel you are so right, you will look in the eyes of a jackass and proclaim your rightness. Keep going.
And Balaam said unto the ass,
He said to the ass,
because you've mocked me.
he don't even realize he talking to a jackass. He feel he is so right that he's still having the conversation. Not, hey man, how the hell you talking? That ain't even coming up. That's what happened when you feel you right. Go ahead. Keep reading. Where you at?
Verse 29. And
Okay.
Balaam said unto the ass, because you've mocked me,
Uh-huh.
I would there were a sword in my hand, for now would I kill you.
Uh-huh. Not only does he feel like he's right, he feels justified in all of the harsh things that is coming out of his mouth toward the very entity that is attempting to help make the crooked straight. Go ahead.
And the ass said unto Balaam, am not I your ass, upon which you have ridden ever since I was yours unto this day? Was I ever known to do so unto you? And he said, no.
Wait a minute. So none of the loyal service that the ass has brought unto him, none of that has even come into his remembrance or even into the equation. Just that you hurting my feelings right now because I want to do something and you are not agreeing to it. Never mind the dumb animal is trying to help make the crooked straight. Go ahead.
Then Yahweh opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of Yahweh standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face.
Okay, so, but what if Yahweh sends somebody to help you? That you say something or do something out of the way. That person come to you. Do you keep smiting them? Do you accuse those people of being off? Because they see what's crooked and you don't? Now his eyes are open and now he sees what this animal, the animal was showing him love. The animal was like, man, I've been serving you. Man, I saw this angel and I knew, hey, bro, look, me and you don't win a lot of places. I know the fight you're not going to win. And, bro, you're not going to beat that. I'm saving us. You can't win against that, bro. So I kept turning you away from it. And every time I try to turn you away from it, you turned on me. Go ahead.
And the angel of Yahweh said unto him, wherefore have you smitten your ass these 3 times?
Right. Now you got to get not only discipline for what you done, now in the process of somebody trying to bring it to you, now you got to get disciplined for how you dealt with the individual that was trying to make your crooked path straight. Go ahead.
Behold, I went out to withstand you, because your way is perverse before me.
Uh-huh.
And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also
Unless she. Okay. Unless she had turned from me, surely I had slain you and saved her alive. So she was never in danger. Just you. But she the only one who done got hit. Okay, hold on. She was never in danger. But she has the only one who has gotten hit in this scenario. The only one who has been belittled in this scenario is the one who was not wrong. Okay, go ahead.
And Balaam said unto the angel of Yahweh, I've sinned, for I knew not that you stood in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease you, I will get me back again.
All right. Now, when someone comes to us saying something against our character, we first examine the person to see if they are worthy in our own eyes to correct us. If we deem those people of lesser value or of a lesser position than ourselves, we easily throw their concern away as refuse, not to be believed or even meditated upon. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 16.
The preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from Yahweh. All the ways of man are clean in his own eyes.
All the ways of man are clean in his own eyes. So if you only have your eyes and you never depend on any of your neighbor or your family, I'm telling you, you're going to have some problems. Because everything about you look good to you. Is that the only view you got? Go ahead.
But Yahweh weighs the spirits. Commit your works unto Yahweh, and your thoughts shall be established. Yahweh has made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yahweh.
What do you think that was that caused him to smite the ass? Surely this dumb donkey can't have anything in knowing the path of life. Surely this dumb donkey don't know nothing. See? Pride makes you react so strongly. There's no way that anything that the donkey sees could be relevant to something that I'm going through. And if we'll do that with an animal, imagine what we'll do to people. Oh, that person don't have the same degree as I have. Oh, I don't have to listen to them. Oh, they're not of the same financial status. I don't have to listen to them. They don't live in the right neighborhood. I don't have to listen to them. Okay. If he'll use a dumb donkey, right. Go ahead.
Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. By mercy and truth, lawlessness is purged, and by the fear of Yahweh, men depart from evil. When a man's ways please Yahweh, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. A man's heart deviseth his way, but Yahweh directs his steps. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king, his mouth transgressed not in judgment. A just weight and balance are Yahweh's. All the weights of the bag are his work. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaks right. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver? The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keeps his way preserves his soul. Pride goes before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall.
Pride goes before destruction because the pride won't let us accept correction. Pride is leading you to destruction. Correction was offered, but the entity wasn't worthy enough to offer instruction, so we wouldn't accept it. Go ahead, priest.
Better is it to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. He that handles a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusts in Yahweh, happy is he. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning. Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that has it, but the instruction of fools is folly. The heart of the wise teaches his mouth, and adds learning to his lips. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and health to the bones. There is a way that seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
There is a way that seems right. It seemed right, but it ends in death. And let me tell you something, you ain't got to worry about hearing no I told you so's in death. No, the people who remain alive will be able to say, man, I tried to reach them. I tried to explain to them. I tried. I tried what I could, but they were just unreachable. I wasn't respected enough for them to hear me. But they ain't gonna hear that now. Go ahead.
He that labors labors for himself, for his mouth craves it of him. An ungodly man digs up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. A froward man sows strife, and a whisperer separates chief friends.
And why do we even have a refuge for the separator of chief friends? We let people walk around for a year plus talking under their mouth about a brother and the brother on the other side of the room. Why was an individual able to do that for a year and a half and ain't nobody said nothing? And what you're supposed to do is pull that brother right over there. All right, man, go ahead and finish that statement you were saying before. No, man. The thing you were saying, you remember you were saying what you were saying, remember? Go ahead. No, the man right here. No, remember how you were saying he must be lazy, he must, you know what I'm saying? He don't be in the trenches. Remember all that stuff he was saying? Say it, he right here. I don't know how he was able to even do all this stuff if he ain't never done nothing. I don't even know how he even know how to do stuff if he ain't never done nothing, but you said he ain't never done nothing. He is right here. Say that stuff you were saying again. Right. Go ahead.
A violent man entices his neighbor and leads him into the way that is not good. He shuts his eyes to devise froward things, moving his lips, he brings evil to pass. The hoary head is a crown of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness.
You don't just get respect because you old and gray. Hell, most of us try to bleach out the damn gray anyway. We try to black it out. Get that shoe polish and black out everything that's gray. We don't want to be honored like that. But then you think you're going to be honored just because you got gray hair? Not if you're a gray-headed fool. Go ahead.
He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of Yahweh.
Right. The lot is cast into the lap. But Yahweh going to take care of the ending. Let everybody do whatever they got to do. Let everybody say everything that they got to say. Yahweh going to still render his judgment in the end of things. But everybody can still do whatever that is they're going to do. And Yahweh pauses so that he allows everybody to show their position. So that he allows everybody to show either their approval or disapproval. And then he waits to the end before he utters his. That way, he has proven the hearts of everybody involved. Because he does not utter his judgment at the beginning. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. I think I want to jump past that.
Yeah.
Let's actually go to 2 Chronicles 32. Second Chronicles 32, and let's start that at verse 1.
Chronicles 32. After these things, and the establishment thereof, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came and entered into Yehudah, and encamped against the fenced cities, and thought to win them for himself. And when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib was come, and that he was purposed to fight against Jerusalem, he took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountains which were without the city, and they did help him. So there was gathered much people together, who stopped all the fountains and the brook that ran through the midst of the land, saying, Why should the kings of Assyria come and find much water? Also he strengthened himself and built up all the wall that was broken, and raised it up to the towers, and another wall without, and repaired Millo in the city of David, and made darts and shields in abundance. And he set captains of war over the people, and gathered them together to him in the street of the gate of the city, and spake comfortably to them, saying, Be strong and courageous, be not afraid nor dismayed for the king of Assyria, nor for all the multitude that is with him, for there be more with us than with him. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is Yahweh our Elohim to help us, and to fight our battles. And the people rested themselves upon the words of Hezekiah king of Yehudah. After this did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, send his servants to Jerusalem, but he himself laid siege against Lachish, and all his power with him, unto Hezekiah king of Yehudah, and unto all Yehudah that were at Jerusalem, saying, Thus says Sennacherib, king of Assyria, Whereon do you trust, that you abide in the siege of Jerusalem? Does not Hezekiah persuade you to give over yourselves to die by famine and by thirst, saying, Yahweh our Elohim shall deliver us out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Has not the same Hezekiah taken away his high places and his altars, and commanded Yehudah and Jerusalem, saying, You shall worship before one altar and burn incense upon it?
Now, do you understand this statement? Has not the same Hezekiah taken away his high places and his altars, and commanded Yehudah and Jerusalem, saying, You shall worship before one altar and burn incense upon it? Didn't he take away the extra gods that y'all used to worship?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all should be angry at him that he took away your gods. Go ahead.
Know you not what I and my fathers have done unto all the people of other lands? Were the gods of the nations of those lands anyways able to deliver their lands out of my hand?
Mm-hmm.
Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed, that could deliver his people out of mine hand, that your Elohim should be able to deliver you out of mine hand? Now therefore let not Hezekiah deceive you, nor persuade you on this manner, neither yet believe him. For no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people out of my hand, and out of the hand of my fathers. How much less shall your Elohim deliver you out of mine hand? And his servant spake yet more against Yahweh Elohim, and against his servant Hezekiah. He wrote also letters to rail on Yahweh Elohim of Israel, and to speak against him, saying, As the gods of the nations of other lands have not delivered their people out of mine hand, so shall not the Elohim of Hezekiah deliver his people out of mine hand. Then they cried with a loud voice in the Yehudi speech unto the people of Jerusalem that were on the wall, to fright them and to trouble them, that they might take the city. And they spake against the Elohim of Jerusalem, and against the gods of the people of the earth, which were the work of the hands of man. And for this cause Hezekiah the king and the prophet Esaias the son of Amoz prayed and cried to heaven. And Yahweh sent an angel, which cut off all the mighty men of valor, and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria.
Now, at what point do you call on your Elohim? Let's say you don't respect the power of the enemy. At what point do you come outside of what you are dealing with and beseech your Elohim for protection, guidance, and strength? Go ahead.
So he returned with shame of face to his own land. And when he was come into the house of his God, they that came forth of his own bowels slew him there with the sword. Thus Yahweh saved Hezekiah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of Sennacherib the king of Assyria, and from the hand of all other, and guided them on every side. And many brought gifts unto Yahweh to Jerusalem, and presents to Hezekiah king of Yehudah, so that he was magnified in the sight of all nations from thenceforth.
Now, this is where things can get dangerous, because at this point, there's magnification because of what Yahweh has done. Even though a man is what we see, this work was done by Yahweh. Keep going.
In those days Hezekiah was sick to death, and prayed unto Yahweh, and he spake unto him, and he gave him a sign. But Hezekiah rendered not again according to the benefit done unto him, for his heart was lifted up.
Now, why was his heart lifted up? See, sometimes success could end up bringing us to failure. We're so successful that we don't owe any thanks to Elohim. We don't owe anything to try to strengthen anything that Yahweh has done, because clearly we've done this of our own accord. Go ahead.
Therefore there was wrath upon him and upon Yehuda and Jerusalem.
Now wait a minute. When you're dealing with a king, there's wrath upon him and wrath upon the people. Wait a minute. The people wasn't arrogant. He was. But he over the people. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, Hezekiah humbled himself for the pride of his heart, both he and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so that the wrath of Yahweh came not upon them in the days of Hezekiah.
Notwithstanding, Hezekiah humbled himself. Now, when you humble yourself, then the people under you can also humble themselves as well. But if he walks in pride, what does he encourage them to do? See, we think it's a normal statement. God bless America and no place else. Well, then he can't bless nowhere else. Just you. He can't bless no other place. Just the place you at. Wow. So you breed more arrogance. We were talking about this the other day when folks say, this is the greatest country in the world. He said, what other countries you been to? Oh, I ain't been nowhere. Well, how the hell can you answer that question? How in the hell can you proclaim that you in the best country in the world, you ain't been past Glenwood? But this is the greatest country in the world, and you ain't been to none other one. Yeah, whatever. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 27. And Hezekiah had exceeding much riches and honor, and he made himself treasuries for silver and for gold, and for precious stones, and for spices, and for shields, and for all manner of pleasant jewels. Storehouses also for the increase of corn and wine and oil, and stalls for all manner of beasts, and coats for flocks. Moreover, he provided him cities and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance, for Elohim had given him substance very much.
And when Yahweh has given you a whole lot, you have to be careful that you don't end up exalting it yourself. We all say we want these things, but what happened? His eyes gonna be on you to see how you handle it. Go ahead.
This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper watercourse of Gihon, and brought it straight down to the west side of the city of David. And Hezekiah prospered in all his works. Howbeit, in the business of the ambassadors of the princes of Babylon, who sent on to him to inquire of the wonder that was done in the land, Elohim left him to try him, that he might know all that was in his heart.
Wait a minute. Elohim left him to try him, that he might know all that was in his heart. See, sometimes we think our heart is a little bit purer than it really is. We think our intentions are of the utmost of grandness. And sometimes he got to show you something. Go ahead.
Now the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and his goodness, behold, they are written in the vision of Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz, and in the book of the kings of Yehuda and Israel. And Hezekiah slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the chiefest of the graves of the sons of David. And all Yehuda and the inhabitants of Jerusalem did him honor at his death, and Manasseh his son reigned in his stead.
All right, now let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to James chapter 4. James chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 1 through 17.
Verse 1. From whence comes wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even of your lust that war in your members?
Right. What you think? What causes us to fight against one another when Yahweh has sent someone to try to help make a crooked path straight? We say we want that, but when that is presented to us, watch how we lash out. Go ahead.
You lust and have not. You kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. You fight and war, yet you have not, because you ask not. You ask and receive not, because you asked amiss, that you may consume it upon your lust.
You ask and receive not because you ask amiss. Wait a minute. How you ask amiss? That you may consume it upon your own lust. See, when they're talking about the lust of the eyes, there's certain things that we want just because we saw it. We don't really want it like that. Sometimes we eat, we're not even hungry. It was just food right there. So it was there, so we just nibble on it, but we're not hungry though. Right. Lust of the eyes. Go ahead.
You adulterers and adulteresses, know you not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Elohim? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Elohim. Do you think that the scripture says in vain, the spirit that dwells in us lusts to envy? But he gives more grace. Wherefore he says, Elohim resists the proud, but gives grace unto the humble.
Wait a minute. Do you think that the scripture says in vain, the spirit that dwells in us lusts to envy? So then it's going to use those eyes. No matter what we get, wait a minute, there's always a better car than the one you got. You know that car is only the best car for about 2.5 months. Because the new one going to come out that they already got before they sold yours. They already had another one that do another thing. They were like, we can't release that one yet. But it's in the back. And that one do something that this one don't do. They already know that. The next phone is already made that do what your brand new phone don't do. But how they gonna get the money from each one of them if they sell you that one now? So they got to put out this one so you buy this one. Then they gonna tell you about the one that has this brand new feature. That feature ain't new. So now, this lust to have never stops. So they stringing us along. And we never stop. Go ahead.
Elder, the saddest thing is, you talking about the greatest country in the world, is when you realize that, like you say, you think you got the greatest phone, but then realize if you look across the seas, they got something that's more advanced than what you got. But you ain't getting it till next year. You got the best car, but realize that, wait a minute, they got cars over there that don't come here that do stuff that my cars don't do. Verse 7, submit yourselves therefore to Elohim, resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
So wait a minute. So is it the devil that's causing us to not be content? Oh. Go ahead.
Draw near to Elohim, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Be afflicted, and mourn, and weep. Let your laughters be turned to mourning, and your joy to heaviness.
Why? Because that's when change can happen. See, when you think you riding high and everything going good, you ain't listening to nobody. When somebody do try to tell you, hey, you can make this better.
I don't need to be made better. I'm already best.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Humble yourselves in the sight of the Adonai, and he shall lift you up. Speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speak evil of his brother and judges his brother, speak evil of the law, and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who are you that judges another? Go to now, you that say, today or tomorrow we'll go into such a city, and continue there a year, and buy and sell, and get gain. Whereas you know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. For that you ought to say, if the Adonai will, we shall live and do this or that.
Right, Yah's will. I plan on doing such and such, but I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But it is my plan, so Yah's will. But we have to make sure that we don't start lying on Yahweh either. Yah's will. Like, wait a minute, you wasn't planning on doing none of that. Then when we don't show up, well, Yahweh must didn't will it, because I ended up somewhere else. No, you went somewhere else on purpose. Stop throwing my Elohim in your life. Be man or woman enough to tell your own lie. Don't put Yahweh in your life. Go ahead.
But now you rejoiced in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. Therefore, to him that knows to do good and does it not, to him it is sin.
So wait a minute. We got the sin that we know is in the commandments, right? All right, we know what that say, right? But then we got ones we know. Now we are held. See, that's that thing. When he brings you enlightenment, when he clears your path. Oh, you got the answer for that clearing of the path. No. You have to understand at that point. No. Didn't I show you this? No. You're going to be held accountable because I've shown you. See, we might say, well, no. Well, I have a certain grace period. Wait a minute. That's for the ignorant. Wait a minute. You want the same grace period as an ignorant individual, but you have been thoroughly educated? Oh, is that what you think he's gonna do? You think you get the same grace period as the ignorant? He said, those who have not known my fame shall be beaten with few stripes. But those who have known and have done despite, they will be beaten with many stripes. Israel, you don't get to claim ignorance. There's a whole lot of things that you might be protected under, but ignorance ain't one of them. Let us consider. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.